All right. Hey, welcome to the January 16th, 2026. Holy cow, 2026 edition of Living Courageously Exposed, where we kick the door open to making human normal again and exploring the full range of human emotions and everything that comes along with it. And really just giving you the opportunity to breathe and settle into your very own humanness and to recognize that you're okay just the way you are. Today, I have the opportunity to re-interview again Karen Sammer, and we just had some really great chats. Like this is the fun part is I we have these chats afterwards, and or we sometimes will chat before, and there's good stuff there, and I never get the opportunity to share it. But I'm excited to share with you, Karen, who is oh my gosh, my mind is so slipping. Um, the Sugar Freedom Coach,
Yep.
and she's written a book. I'm going to let her tell you about that. And it's also in one of our past interviews. And I would encourage you to go over to Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast and listen to the previous interviews with Karen. She shared some really great stuff that you're going to want to hear. But in those interviews, I realized that there's this whole like depth and well of information that we haven't tapped into as far as Karen goes, and maybe some of the stuff that she sees with her clients and the progress and maybe how she coaches some of that. And so I wanted to come on and just get a little bit more in depth with Karen and ask some questions that might get some answers to some of those questions. How am I trying to say that? All of a sudden, a quote came into my head from Dr. Seuss about oftentimes the questions are challenging, but the answers are simple. Challenging isn't the word. I can't think of it, but go look up that Dr. Seuss quote. It's actually really good. Um, I don't think we have any big announcements for right now. We're just kicking off a new year. We're in new growth. Like, actually, it's not even new growth. Let's be real. Everyone wants to talk about new year, new me. That's such bullshit. We're still in the season of rest and rejuvenation. And if you follow zodiac calendars, we're still in the very ends of letting go of last year, which was Year of the Snake, so shedding of old skin. And on February 17th, that new calendar starts, and it's actually the Year of the Horse. I'm not going to go into depth, but I will tell you it's really exciting. And for those of you who have felt like you're held back or you just want to get going and this is your year. And the really cool thing is there's an element added to this year, which is fire. I love fire. It's so renewing and it's so breathtaking and beautiful. And think about the last time you sat and watched a fire, or the last time you sat and watched a horse, and put those two things together, like mind blowing. That's what's going to happen for you this year. So go check it out, the Year of the Horse, and then ask about Year of the Fire Horse. So for myself, I don't buy into all the New Year stuff. I don't buy into goal setting. I don't buy into any of that for myself. It's about intention. It's about looking forward, really looking at where I'm at currently, which in this winter season is about rest, rejuvenation. Sometimes it's about planting. Like there's winter wheat that's already been planted. There's the germination, and then there's the breaking of the seas. And I think that's the thing that I really want to point out, and I believe that Karen probably will bring some of this in herself, is growth. Growth's not pretty. Like think of a butterfly who goes into that cocoon. It turns into goo. It turns into goo before it reforms into this beautiful new shape and those big beautiful wings. And the same with a seed. A seed, you don't put it in the ground and then it just pops forth a flower. No, it's outside shed and break open and everything inside spills out. And then it has to push a shoot up through the dirt. And that's how I'm looking at my experience is right now is I'm in that place of new growth, new learning, new leveling up. And it's not about becoming new or doing new things. I'm already in process of that. and following through in that process of breaking through the dirt without putting more manure or dirt on top of it like we tend to want to do, like we shove ourselves back down because we're afraid. Let's be real. Let's call it like it is. And instead, getting out of my own way and watching and trusting this spilling out of my insides that's been taking place and giving it to a what I call higher power, source, whatever that is for you, and trusting in this big universal process, like I would if I had planted a flower seed, like I'm that seed, you're that seed. And so I'm excited to talk about this and to actually watch harvest this year in a different way than maybe I've ever really experienced it. And if you're in that place, then congratulations. We're so happy to have you join us. We're here to support you. Reach out, let us know where you're watching from, where you heard us, and what kind of support could you use. And with that, because I also do coaching, Karen does coaching. Um, we have, if you're someone who wants to write a book, we happen to know a publishing studio who is a part of all of this as well, and we can hook you up with that. Would happily hook you up with that. Um,
Absolutely.
I will get to be a part of that process, which just makes me like overjoyed. So with that, I'm just going to turn the time over to Karen and just say, "Oh my gosh, thanks for being here again, and for the conversations that we had before, for all of your wisdom and your learning and experiences that have brought you to where you are today, and doing the things that you're doing by way of coaching and assisting people in their growing and sprouting process, and stopping putting the dirt or manure back on top of themselves." So any before we get going, any like monologues or tutorials that you want to start with?
I just love the analogy of the seed bursting through or the butterfly metamorphosizing. Is that what that's called? Where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just, whatever it's called, where they emerge as this, they go in as a worm, they get gooey, and then they become this beautiful flying thing. And they only live a very short period of time that way, but they're magnificent when they're here.
yeah.
And not that we should do that, not that we should turn into goo and then turn into a butterfly and be gone in 2 days, but it's a new life. I think is the idea is it's a new life. And I think both of us, I think you and I both help people to find that new life for themselves.
Agreed.
Just in the coaching, in the breaking apart of the breaking the shell. You and I were just talking about this. I'm a natural Badinsky. I get into your life when I'm coaching somebody, I get in, I ask them questions that maybe they haven't even asked themselves. And it's because I'm the sugar freedom coach and I help people to pick the right foods to eat essentially, right? And
Right.
among other things. But it's almost never about the food, right? So you got to you got to dig into that dirt and sometimes it's a scary place to go and you have to when you dig into that, then you can relax in the dirt, right? Once you kind of neutralize it. So you get rid of the junk and the negativity that goes along with it. If you can neutralize it and just sit there in it, and then that's when you can start to blossom, like just kind of turn into that new growth.
Yeah,
And that,
that right there, I think is a really important point, is just getting to a place that you can just be with it.
yeah, yeah.
Just
And
be
it's
with it. Like we're so good at wanting to push it away or shove it down or pretend like it's not there, and instead of just acknowledging and being with it and feeling it so it can move through.
but that is terrifying for people.
Absolutely.
The big feels that go along with that stuff. It is terrifying. But if this is all goes back to our conversation from before. If you allow yourself to feel it, you shed light on it. You shine light on it and it dies, or it at least goes, it subsides. Maybe it doesn't
Okay,
completely
wait.
die.
Say that again. When we do what?
Shine light on it. When
Shine
you
light
shine light,
on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shame, fear, all of the things, all of these emotions with negative connotations, they all thrive in darkness,
That right
secrecy and
there.
darkness. Yeah. But if you shine light on it and you bring it out, first of all, you'll find out you're not the only person who's feeling that way. You think, in these big feelings, we feel like there's no way that anybody has any idea what I'm feeling.
right?
But when you allow yourself, and it takes a lot of courage when you allow yourself to bring this stuff forward, all of a sudden you find out you're not the only one who felt that way. And what a relief it is to the person who hears you talking about it that they also are not the only one feeling that way.
That piece right there, I think is so important and crazy. Like I knew that as a small child, like um and I'm not sure how or where, but like maybe it was listening to people share their life stories and thinking, wow, I recognize that as a young person. Like when we share, we open the door for other people, which is part of what I love about doing these podcasts, and that we all experience similar things. And
Mhm.
it is when we share that, like like you said, shining that light, and it shrinks it. And it's I'm trying to think, I had a thought before that. Oh, it's our connectedness. It's that
Mhm.
recognizing that we're all far more connected than we
And we are apart.
even can imagine we are. We are
Right.
not
Right.
separate. there
Right.
there is a connection, and I believe that that's what um that piece of sharing our stories is so useful for, is just like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm not alone. I'm not the only
Yeah.
crazy
And it
person
strengthens
on this
it's
planet.
that's right. There are many of us.
Yes.
But it strengthens that bond. And it's unfortunate if we could see that on the bigger scale, on the universal scale, we have far more in common than we have
Oh,
differences. And imagine what a world we would have. I mean, the state of
right?
the world is just insane right now, but imagine the world we could have if people would realize that we're all energetically connected. Everybody moves in rhythm with each other. Like
That.
none of us is insulated from that. Whether you want to be connected to an individual or not, you are as a human being, as a creature, not even just a human being, because we're also connected to everything else that has a pulse on this planet.
Yeah.
I think, like
There's a
it's all,
as you're talking about the connectedness, I'm thinking about, I think it's called the butterfly effect.
yeah,
There's a film called The Butterfly Effect, like when a butterfly flaps its wings on one side of the country,
it could cause a
eventually it
tsunami.
melt
Yeah,
on the other.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it works its way energetically. I mean, it's just that we all come from stardust.
That.
Everything comes from stardust, right? I mean, we are all energy. We are not, I just heard like something in quick passing this morning that atoms are mostly empty space and they're constantly vibrating. They're not still. There's nothing stationary. There's nothing solid.
Right.
Everything is vibrating at a frequency and different various frequencies, but we're all doing that. Like that's all, like it's the everything is about the frequency and the vibration and the energy that we share, right? We are constantly exchanging, and you and I are gazillion miles apart, but we're sharing energy. We're passing energy back and forth to each other, even though
Absolutely.
we're virtual, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think sometimes where that blows my mind a little bit is like, I excuse me, I started learning these concepts like who knows how long ago. But the concept of like when you're saying, the atom is it's a vibration.
Hmm.
And I look at this desk and I'm like, we our minds are taught solid,
Yeah.
not moving, disconnected. But the reality is it's vibrating,
Yeah.
just like I am and just like you
Yeah.
are. Like there's a connectedness to the desk,
Hmm.
there's a connectedness to the computer, to the
Hmm.
light, to the piece of artwork. Like that's kind of where in my mind it's like,
It's bizarre, right? Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's bizarre to feel the connectedness with an inanimate object.
yeah,
I think the concept of being connected to humans is a little easier to understand and
a
to
little,
to
and
accept.
right,
Yeah.
and still mind blowing
Yeah.
that we have that much connectedness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
love
if
it,
you know, if you think of evolution, we came out of the ocean and we came from fish. And
right?
here we are. So, I mean, it all like just everything is has evolved, but from the same source,
Right.
right?
So, so do you use this kind of information? Is this something that you just use for yourself and like brings you joy and happiness and sense of self? Um, sense of self on this planet, in this universe? Or is this stuff that you like put in your, like, do you use this in your coaching?
So not really. No, my coaching is more about the individual, right? So this is more of a universal concept, and it just kind of was felt like it was appropriate for this conversation.
Totally.
I feel like, but I feel like what helps me be a better coach is the connectedness that I feel
Got it.
and the shared experience. And there were many things that happened in my life that were kept secret for many years. And
Okay.
as I said before, um, secrecy breeds the shame and the embarrassment and the fear and all of the negative feelings that really wreak havoc on your physical self and your mental
Right.
state.
Well, and it keeps
But
us disconnected.
and yeah, exactly, because for many years I felt like there's nobody that would ever understand what I'm dealing with. And then I started to talk about it, upsetting some people by
Sure.
talking about it who wanted to keep it under the carpet. But it became much easier to manage because then people would say, "Oh my gosh, first of all, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you were going through that." And me too, you know? So it's just incredible. And more, I think people are becoming more comfortable talking about the things that we were taught that should be shameful.
Yes.
Even though it might have been something that was perpetrated on you or you got wrapped up in because of the environment and the dynamic, the environment you were in, and you were kind of sucked into it. But when you allow yourself to share the information, other people will say, "Oh, yes, I did. This is how I handled it," or "Oh my God, I can't believe that somebody else had that
Right.
same experience or had similar experience."
Yeah.
Everybody's
Like
is a little bit different.
I've done completely stupid things too, like that
Yes.
made me want to feel shameful or whoa,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
hide in a closet and to be able to have those conversations. And it's just crazy how when we can talk about them, how it lessens it in us.
Hmm.
And it just, I think it just makes being human more, again, like it's this whole vast experience, and we're here to experience and to learn
Hmm.
from our own stuff and without beating ourselves up.
Exactly. That's the so that when you talk like that, when you say that, that is something that I really try to work very, very diligently on with my clients because my clients come to me in shame, in self-loathing, in hopelessness. Like they have all these negative feelings because for years they tried over and over again to do what they needed to do to get healthy or to lose weight or to whatever, like just improve their life. And over and over again they fall back into old habits and they get to the point where they feel like they're hopeless, they're useless, they can't do what they have to do. They have no willpower, which by the way is a myth. They have no
Agreed.
yeah, willpower is not the answer. Um they have, like they don't have what it takes to move forward.
Yeah.
And so um what I try to do is I try to get people to take the emotion out of it, remove the emotion from it, and look at it as a change that you want to make. If you wanted
Yeah.
to buy a new car, you don't get all emotionally wrapped. At least I don't. I don't like cars that much. I don't get emotionally wrapped up in it. You don't get emotionally wrapped up in buying a new car. You look at the information. You know what you want. You know how much it's going to be. You know what that's going to do financially to you. Whether you're going to pay over time, you're going to buy it for cash, whatever it is. But you make the decision based on solid pieces of information. But there's no emotion attached to that.
Right.
There's no there's no oh my God, I'll never be able to do this, or oh my God, I've tried this before and I've never, whatever it is. There's just no it's not an emotional situation. So if you can pull the emotion, and I know that what I'm saying is easier said than done,
Right.
because we're human beings and our feeling of self, it has a lot to do with what we look like or how we perceive ourselves, how other people perceive us. But if you can work on just taking the emotion out of it and looking at it as a situation that you want to change. I don't want to call it a problem that you need to solve because I feel like
Right.
then that you're the problem. And that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about I weigh this much. I want to weigh this much. What do I need to do to get from this much to this much?
Right.
And then work on that intellectually rather than emotionally.
I love that. It's kind of like um that we're all creators. We're always
Yep.
creating, whether we want to or not. And one of the things that I have coached, I learned long ago, but then also coaches like, I created this. Like, look what I created. Okay, maybe it's not the most amazing thing in this moment, or I don't feel good in this shape or this form, or I don't feel good with, whatever that outcome, but I still created it. And like you celebrate the fact that you created it.
You
And
are a
now you
creator. Yeah.
become more aware and conscious and create something different. Is that's what I hear you saying.
Yes. And the thing is that where you are right now served you, or
Yes,
it served you in some capacity. Whether it's, in my case, it was a suit of armor. It's a suit of armor that my weight fluctuates significantly from time to time, depending on what's going on in my life. I still haven't gotten past that nonsense, but it is what it is. But I do have the tools to reverse it. But it's a suit of armor. It's a protection for whatever, and that's a myth. We all know that's a myth, but it protects you from the world. It protects you from maybe people getting close or even physically protects you. Nobody's going to kidnap a fat lady, you know? They're little ones that can pick up and throw over their shoulder and move about the world. But, I mean, that's an extreme example. I
yeah,
don't live in a
yeah,
place where I'm likely to be kidnapped. But, but I'm saying that there is a certain level of protection that you get. I'm specifically talking about being overweight,
yeah,
but but being in a strong, healthy, right-sized body, don't say right size. It's more like being in a strong, healthy body at a healthy weight also has extreme advantages, and
absolutely.
and many more advantages than being in an overweight body that has trouble sleeping, that has trouble moving about the world, that has aches and pains in the joints, that has trouble, just
Well, and more
participating in day-to-day
easily
tasks.
uh hangs on or catches ailments because then you're
Yes,
storing all the emotion and all the stuff inside there that
yes,
causes those things. And
yes,
um yeah,
yeah, yeah,
different
for
kinds
sure.
of morbidities that you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to deal with in a healthier frame.
Yes, exactly. Well, to your point about that, there is a lot of emotion, negative emotion that comes along with being overweight and being perceived as somebody who is slovenly or whatever the perception is that some other people hold. Very often we hold it on ourselves too.
Yes.
We are much harder on ourselves than the outside world is, but we project that to them. So we assume that they're thinking the same thing about us that we're thinking of ourselves. And you're right, and that does lead to uh disease disease in the body because you're and when you have negative emotion it's almost like a magnet for opportunistic infection because your immune system is suppressed and your ability to just not just to fight things off is also suppressed. It's just but a lot of it has to do with how we internally perceive ourselves, right?
Absolutely. It made me think of I look at this stuff like emotions and whatnot as a mixing board for music. Often when we're
Hmm.
doing trying to protect ourselves, we think we're just like hiding or numbing or whatnot, one little knobby area on our in our life or in the music, but the reality is we're numbing all of them for the very
Yep.
reasons that you just stated.
Yep.
And so when we choose an area to start raising our vibrant energy, whether it's just our attitude in general, or maybe it's our physical health or our size or um, emotional learning, whatever, everything raises. You raise one, you raise the
Absolutely.
others.
Yep. Yep. It's all connected. Nothing, you don't have systems that work independently of each other.
Right.
Your entire body, your mind, body, and soul all work in conjunction with each other.
Agreed.
So yes, when you elevate one thing, you elevate everything else. A rising tide raises all boats. In your body, in your being, that's the same thing.
I
It's
love that.
just you are when you take charge and you do something for yourself that improves your life, whatever that may be, whether it's losing weight, whether it's getting enough sleep, whether it's drinking enough water, whether it's stopping alcohol or drugs, whatever it is that you do. First of all, you've taken control. Now you have just made an announcement to the universe that you are in control. This
Right?
is your stuff to deal with, and you're gonna deal with it. It's not You're not a victim. You're not, oh my God, I can't do this. What am I gonna do? I can't do this. It's out of my control. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's within your control, but you have to take that control, right? And so it isn't. You can be a victim in your life, or you can be the victor.
Right
I
there.
prefer to be the victor. To my credit, and I don't like to. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, never once did I think this shouldn't have. Why did this happen to me? I knew damn well why it happened to me. I was not taking care of myself. I was laying the groundwork for any opportunistic thing to happen to me,
Right.
and I wasn't doing anything to prevent it. But by knowing that, then I knew that I had to take control of the situation, or it was going to take control of me. And I wasn't. That was not an acceptable outcome for me.
Yeah. So so that just brings me to what I was going to ask you earlier is um a lot of times we teach from our own experiences. We teach from
Yes.
our own lived experience because that's how we gain actual valuable wisdom, knowledge, not just information, not just book learning. There's a lot of people out there just teaching book learning, but there's
Yeah.
also, or AI learning, but there's also people who actually embody this because it was their experience and they're teaching from their lived experience and also saying, like, this was my experience. This is what served me. These are principles that more than likely will serve a large population, although in varying degrees.
Mhm.
You're not going to probably get the exact same results. You're not meant to. I'm curious. Would you share some of what that journey was? You've hinted to the fact that you were a larger size and an unhealthy person, and now you've mentioned breast cancer. Do you mind sharing what some of that journey is and maybe what you experienced emotionally and mentally and how it brought you to this place now of wanting to assist people?
I'm happy to share that. I'm an open book when it comes to my experiences because like I said, darkness grows things that you don't want to
Yeah.
grow. So yes, when I was diagnosed in Christmas Eve 2009. I found
Wow.
out that I had breast cancer, and then I had to wait until about 4 days after Christmas to have a conversation with the doctor, which was the longest period of time in my life, 5 days of
Wow.
my life. But then they gave me an option of either waiting 6 months or having a biopsy now. Well, if I can't wait 4 days, I sure as hell can't wait 6 months.
Right?
So, so I had the biopsy. It was a good thing I did because it was an aggressive form of breast cancer that would have had a much different outcome if I had waited 6 months.
Okay.
So, so right there, I took control of the situation because I had the biopsy now. I'm not waiting. It wasn't going to go away. I needed to have an answer now. So that I did the biopsy, I found out the results, and then I went right into treatment. Now, the treatment was grueling. It was a year long. That included surgery. I had a lumpectomy. I had chemo and I had radiation, and the chemo lasted for a year.
Okay.
So it took a lot out of me, but it was my way of taking control of the situation. But in that process of that, because I wasn't really able to do a whole lot else during the
Right.
chemo, especially the first 6 months, I was doing a lot of research, and I realized that what I was doing to my body or how I was treating my body is what contributed to my breast cancer.
So at this
And
point, were you had you been on your weight loss journey or were you still in your like this is what I've created, I don't really love it form?
I had started. So once when I got the diagnosis, I said I got to change something. Something
Okay.
has to change in my life. So I started the weight loss journey then. And during my 6 months of grueling chemo, I think I lost 28 pounds. And a lot of
Okay.
people gain weight when they're in breast
Yeah.
cancer treatment. And that's because the doctors tell you don't lose any weight. Just eat the way you want. Just make sure you don't eat raw food. Like you couldn't eat salads, you couldn't eat sushi, you couldn't eat raw
Right.
foods because your immune system is completely suppressed, and the lining in your digestive system is gone because
I see you're not be able to process
that
those raw foods.
exactly. So I couldn't eat very much anyway. I ate maybe one meal every couple of days because
Wow.
I was so nauseated. It was terrible. But anyway, so I lost 28 pounds during my first 6 months of treatment. And during this time, I was doing this research and realized that sugar contributes to the development of cancer cells. All your cells require glucose to live, but processed sugar is is absolute. It's like crack cocaine to cancer cells. So
Yeah.
I immediately stopped eating processed sugar. When I did that, everything changed. Then
Now,
I
for
could eat.
someone who's listening to us and doesn't have an understanding of what processed sugar is, will you just give a quick overview of that?
Absolutely. So processed sugar is mostly it's actually it's the ingredient that keeps you coming back for more in junk food, in processed food, ultra processed food, and which if it's heavy in carbohydrates, refined carbohydrates, so those are like crackers and cookies and cakes and like the sweet stuff with cookies, all of the things that you probably love. When you eat that stuff, it immediately converts to sugar in your body. Any carbohydrate that doesn't have any kind of bran or fiber in it immediately convert. It's like eating a bowl of sugar. And so what that does is it feeds, not only does it feed the cancer cells, but it also increases your blood glucose level, which causes you to become insulin resistant down the road. You become insulin resistant and eventually become diabetic. So at the time that I was diagnosed, I was already pre-diabetic, but I was
Okay.
paying no attention to that, paying no attention to any of that. I knew that was going on, but I paid no attention to it because I was on I was on my merry life, and it wasn't until I got the diagnosis because pre-diabetic to me was no symptoms, no, I
Okay.
had nothing, like okay, then I'll stop eating a cookie or something, but which I never did. Until I got the breast cancer diagnosis is what got my attention. It was life altering. It was
Absolutely.
also life threatening. It was it was clearly life threatening. I was raising two kids. I was the breadwinner in my family, primary breadwinner of my family. It was I needed to be here. And it was very important that I remain here until my kids were grown and my family was taken care of.
Yeah.
So I anyway, but that was the impetus for me that I knew I had to do something about my health. And when I found out that the sugar feeds cancer, I stopped eating the processed sugar. So I stopped eating anything that came out of a box bag or can, except for
Okay.
maybe beans. Beans I would eat, canned because they're a pain in the neck to cook.
Right.
So, but I ate very simply. I ate uh, a protein, maybe a starch, like a complex carbohydrate, like a potato or a root vegetable or something like that, and lots of greens. I ate a lot of greens. And so I ended up losing 135 pounds by doing that. But it
Wait,
was almost,
that's on top of the what'd you say, 28 you'd already
no, that was
lost?
part of it.
Part of it.
The
Okay,
total
so
was 135. Yeah.
135.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was able to walk in one of those, they have the breast cancer awareness walks with a 3-day, 60-mile walk. I did that about a year after I was done being treated. And I was pretty proud of that, considering I couldn't
Yeah.
walk around my block when I started my cancer journey.
Right.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of that. So I don't think I'd ever do it again, but it was, but it was an interesting experience. So, but the thing is that I did not allow, excuse me, I did not allow my negative feelings about myself to make the decision. This was, all right, here's my problem. I have cancer. I have to get rid of this cancer. and I have to mitigate my recurrence rate, my risk of recurrence
Right.
because it was aggressive. At the time, if there wasn't a particular drug available, it had 85% recurrence rate.
Wow.
That was brought down to 15%, which is still not insignificant. 15% by taking this drug, but I needed to make it lower than that. Excuse me. I get excited and my throat gets all.
Right. No, I hear you.
So anyway, I needed to mitigate my risk as much as I possibly could. So I did
What
what I had to do.
what clicked for you that like what clicked for you
The cancer.
that but there's a lot of people who go through cancer who
Yep,
it doesn't click for them
I know.
and
I know.
they
Well, because they listen. So the doctors, when they doctors tell you not to lose weight. Now, I was this gigantic person for whom losing weight would not have been detrimental,
right.
you know, but they tell you to maintain your weight, and I did not. So when and the oncologist, as I was losing weight, was complimenting me on it. So, but I was, reading the literature. They told you, just maintain because you need all the energy that you can get. Well,
Right.
that's true. You do, but walking around in an extra large body does not give you energy. I can assure you of that.
Yeah,
And
and there are other ways too. I mean, I've heard lots of stories of cancer, people with cancer who aren't able to eat, that it
yeah,
messes up their taste or their
yeah,
tongue and they're not
yeah.
able to eat. And I've heard doctors say, or even the patients themselves, like I was told just to eat whatever I want or whatever I can.
Yes,
Just
yes, whatever I can. Yes, exactly. That's what they told you is to eat whatever you can. Because you do. So everything tasted like pennies. It tasted like metallic in my mouth. It was awful. So I barely ate. The only thing I could really eat was peanut butter and marmalade on a little thin piece of bread.
wow.
And I ate that every couple of days. Like I didn't eat that much. And usually I didn't eat much at all. And I also didn't drink any water while because everything tasted bad. So I didn't drink any water, which I think caused problems as well because I didn't rinse that stuff out of me. Anyway,
So did you remind me, did you wait to start eating like the more raw vegetables, the and foliage and things like that after your treatment was done?
yeah.
Okay.
After my chemo, so chemo was 4.5 months. It was
Okay.
so from January to maybe mid-April, I think was chemo. And then after that was Herceptin, which was the drug that kept me from getting kept the recurrence from happening.
Right.
That took me out to the end of the year. The actual chemo is what caused the first 4.5 months I couldn't eat
Okay.
very much at all. So that's it was after that I started eating, like really healthy food, eating 3 meals a day, um,
So
and
was it,
having
I'm just going back to my question, like, was it the fear of going back to that place, or was there just a big wake up call of like, I got to do this differently, which I guess would be the fear of going back to that place?
so it was the fear of not living, not being alive to take care of my kids.
Kids, yeah.
And yeah, and once I got past the sugar cravings, which happened pretty quickly actually, I felt so amazing. I mean, every ache in my joints went away. I
Okay.
had energy. All of the so this is after the treatment was done, and I'm starting to get a little bit back to normal. And, the first four after about 6 months, I guess, is when I really started to feel, my hair was coming back, and I felt a little bit, I just felt more normal, and I was eating well and healthy, and when I started doing that, the way my body felt was amazing. So I just wanted to keep that up. That was, I mean, I don't think there's a drug on the planet that would make you feel the way I was feeling at that time because I felt so crappy
Yeah.
for the first 6 months, and even prior to that. Prior to that, when before I was diagnosed, I was drinking more than I should. I was drinking. I was a wino. I would drink wine at night, but I'd come home and
Yeah.
have
This is
a
a
couple of big glasses.
shining
Yes.
light.
So you can feel my pain, right? But I drink these big glasses of wine, a couple of big glasses of wine to go to bed, and take 3 Advils so that I could sleep because my back hurt so bad,
Wow.
right? Because I was carrying away around all this extra body weight. So And then I'd wake up in the middle of the night. My heart would be pounding. I'd have like I'd be drenched in sweat. It would is the time I guess was I perimenopausal? I may have been. I went into menopause right around the same time. So I
Okay.
guess and so I was having menopausal symptoms, panic attacks in the middle of the night. 3 o'clock in the morning, every problem I ever had in my life was raining down on me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but when I stopped drinking and when I stopped eating the way I was eating, all of that went away. I never had another
Wow.
symptom. Yeah. Yeah. But it's incredible the feeling that you get when you're in control of when you're in control like that. It's so much better than to me, it's so much better than being a victim of your circumstances.
Yes.
Because that helps no one. That helps no one. And there's no solution attached to being a victim of your circumstances. Right? But when you want to take control of it, and I mean, you can't control everything, obviously. But
Right.
the stuff that you can control, when you take that control back, it's just a whole different mindset.
Well, and again, it's like, there's all this energy and stuff around control, and we're we're taught to surrender. Like it's like
Yeah.
taking your power and your energy back to make decisions for yourself
Hmm.
in healthy ways versus maybe control, because you still got to surrender.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
control is
a
probably not the right. Yeah, control is probably not the right word.
I
Taking
often
that
use
power.
that word too, and I
Yeah.
think, but then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing my best to let go of places where I've held control that's
Yeah.
not serving me. I thought it has, and maybe it did to a
Yeah.
certain point, but I think it's more just about, oh wait, learning to
Yeah.
love yourself
Yeah. Well,
enough to
that's the
make
thing.
healthy
Learning to love
decisions.
yourself enough. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Love yourself enough to do what's best for you. And to that point though, it is a little bit more challenging when you have kids, right? Because your kids require your attention. But
Yeah,
I did really I put myself higher on the list for my priorities,
I love that.
and for the most part, I took care of me first. Not to the detriment of my family, but I made sure I was absolutely in the mix.
But also that's such a powerful thing to teach our kids.
Yeah.
Like I might be your mom, but I'm a human being first,
Hmm.
and I have my own needs. Like it teaches them to take care of themselves
Yeah.
and to know how to do
Yeah.
that inside of
That's true.
themselves as
Yeah.
well, instead of watching their mom or a parent, any parent,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
a martyr.
Yeah. Exactly. That teaches them what that teaches them is that my turn is next.
Yeah,
Then I have to be a martyr for somebody, and I have
yeah,
to be absorbed into their shadow, right? And that isn't that yeah that is not good for anybody. It's not good for the child. It's not good for the parent, and then that it just perpetuates when you allow that to happen. So yeah, and like you say, control is probably not the right word. I took the power back. I took my power back. I had the power to make some changes in my life, and I took
yeah.
advantage of that, and I did what I needed to do.
Yeah, and maybe it goes back to that creative power that we talked about earlier, is because we're always creating,
Mhm.
um, whether we know it or not, and looking and being like, whoa, well, I created this, congratulations, and just saying now we're gonna create, and it feels like that's kind of what you did. You're like,
Yeah,
whoa, this
I
isn't,
just recreated. Yeah.
yeah, in a more conscious,
Yes.
aware way.
Yeah.
Be
Yes, I did it with purpose as opposed
purpose.
to. So, if you ever read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon
Yeah,
Hill,
yeah,
amazing book, right?
yeah,
We walk through the life with in what is it called? Hypnotic rhythm or something, hypnotic something. But we really just walk through life doing the same thing over and over again and just not just staying in that inertia. It's not until you do something painful that causes you to kind of pop out of that orbit that you're just going around and around and pop out of that and take a different path. That's, the devil likes us to be in hypnotic rhythm.
oh
He likes
man,
us to be he
for
wants us to be
sure.
doing the same thing over and over and not thinking for ourselves. But when you do that, it's painful initially, but the results are just incredible. It's, everything outside of your comfort zone. Everything you want is outside of your comfort zone, right? Is
Right,
you got to
so
get out
true.
you got to get out of that rhythm
Just
and you got
right
to
there.
yes, exactly. Just
I
step out
often,
there.
yeah, I often refer to like our minds, our thinking minds is the devil and the heart, and we've got to learn how to let this thing be in control and to realize it's going to
Absolutely.
be okay. Like this has
Yeah.
a place, it has a purpose, it's got, there's meaning for it too, but
Yeah.
not in the ways that it's
But
tried to
this is, yeah,
overtake us.
you're, yeah,
Let our
you're right.
hearts
Yeah.
do
But
the
there's a very excuse me, a very powerful connection between your brain and your heart. And your
absolutely
heart is actually has more influence over your life, over your physical life than your brain does.
right.
It
And
does.
same with our guts. Like our guts have
Yeah.
a brain that
Mhm.
has
That's
more.
our second brain. Yeah. It actually has, yes, that has more influence over your well-being than your brain does. Yeah, there are more organisms living in your gut than you have atoms in your body or cells in your body.
So
Yeah.
crazy and
That's
so
insane.
cool.
Hmm.
And so cool. Okay, so let's talk about, we talked a little bit about the taking the emotion out of it, like
Yeah.
buying a car, that it's not, that's those are things that the brain can do, like calculating the numbers and the
Yeah.
things like that. But then, you know, there can be excitement about buying the car, but this is a
It's a transaction.
that weight is not a problem to be solved.
It's not, it is a situation that you want to change because you are not a problem that has to be solved.
Exactly.
You are not the number on your scale. You're the number on your scale is simply your relationship to gravity, your body's relationship to gravity, right? It's a calculation. If you were on the moon, you'd weigh a lot less because the gravity is a lot less on the moon. But if it's your relationship to gravity, no, it's data, it's information, and you get on the scale, you get that information. If that information is not something that you're happy with, then you want to change it. Don't stay out of the as much as you can. I mean, it's like I said, easier said than done
We're
sometimes,
human.
but try to understand that it is simply information. And if it's a piece of information that you would like to have a different result, what do you need to do to change that?
Yeah, what's that action or
What
the next step, or
exactly,
that can put
exactly,
you on a different trajectory.
exactly. How do you step out of that orbit? What do you need to do to step out of that orbit? What's one thing that you need to do? And when you identify that one thing and you do that for a bit, then you take the next thing. You don't have to eat the whole elephant at one time.
Right?
You don't have to completely do a 180 in your life. You do it at 1 degree at a time. And before you know it, you're 180 degrees the other direction. And you didn't even feel it because you did it so gradually.
Well, that reminds me of things that I've heard. Maybe you've heard them too, like, a boat on the ocean using a
Yes.
navigation system or an airplane. You put them 1 degree
1 degree
off,
off. Yeah.
and
And they end up
they
at a different
over
continent.
time they end up at a completely different,
Yeah.
like far away
Yeah.
different.
Well, you think about it, you get 1 degree off and they're just going to go like this and they're just going to keep going that way and they're supposed to be going that way. I mean, look at the difference there.
Yeah.
But
But we do
it's
that to ourselves
yeah,
unknowingly. And we're like, how the hell did I get here? And
yeah.
so what I'm hearing you say, and that I know both of us have practiced at different times and degrees of our lives, is saying, I am choosing to not be to take myself 1 degree to
Hmm.
the right or to the left and
Hmm.
follow that. And then when it's
Yeah,
time, make another degree change. That's what I'm hearing you say.
exactly. Exactly. I am choosing I want to do this. This is the choice that I am making. I can choose this way and continue going the same way I've been going, or I can do that one little change and go that way. And then tomorrow maybe I'll do another change and go that way. And just keep making that arc
Yeah.
bigger and bigger as you do one change at a time.
Yeah. So this just came into my mind as something to just address to someone who might be listening to us, because there are those of us out there who, for whatever reason, may not get the opportunity to make a 1 degree change, but actually have to just like take a complete 90 degree or a complete 180 and jump themselves out of a situation in order for them to be healthy. And then when they're in that more healthy place, but they're still in the body, they're still in a mindset that they were in, then those people get to start making those little changes. So
Mhm.
some people actually, there is sometimes a ripping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah,
There is sometimes a ripping out of the circumstance. And I just want to acknowledge that if that's you, um, one, my heart goes out to you. And I honor your circumstances and your situation. And I have huge respect for the courage that it takes to do stuff like that and to just keep going with what Karen and I are talking about today. Because now you get the opportunity to actually maybe think more for yourself and to start taking those little actions and learning to trust um, and create more consciously in the ways that we've been talking. But it just like really popped into my head. I'm like, there are some people
yeah,
who just don't get that little by little. And just to
right.
acknowledge you in those places and say, we see you, we hear you, we celebrate you, and we're here for you as well.
On some level, I was that person, what you're
Okay.
talking about, because of the cancer, right?
Yeah.
The cancer wasn't going to wait for me to make little tiny changes. I made wholesale changes. Now,
Yes.
fortunately or unfortunately, I wasn't able to eat. So nothing would have tasted good to me anyway, which made it a lot easier for me to lose the weight initially. And then once I started to get to a place where I could eat, I'd already gotten out of that eating, that bad habit of eating
Yeah.
things
Gotcha.
that weren't serving me. And so, um, excuse me, that isn't everybody's situation. Some people, and or who knows, you could have been, I don't know, there are all sorts of situations where you would have to be, like you said, ripped out and have no other choice but to do something
Yeah.
completely different from
Well,
what you were
and a
doing.
lot of times people are making these decisions for themselves, and it's challenge, and it feels like even though they've made the decision, it still
Mhm.
feels like a ripping out of, which
Yeah,
because more or less you're ripping yourself out of it. And
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that. So I appreciate you sharing that was part of your experience too. Like,
yeah,
whoa, if I
yeah.
really wanted something different, I did have to take myself out of all of those things.
Yes, yes, exactly. And it is not, and if you have a situation where that is your story, then you become overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do here? I have to do something different. What is that? How do I manage this complete upheaval, this complete overhaul of whatever my habits are?
Yeah,
What do I do first? And that's I try to help people to like chunk it down.
I love
Like I
that.
said, you don't have to eat the whole elephant. Now there may be situations where you have to eat a good part of the elephant all at one time, but you still have to break it down into manageable bites.
Yeah. Okay. So let's I'm going to use that as a springboard into the next thing of like breaking it down into chewable bites. Is I know you have a challenge coming up in February that I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
is going to assist people in doing exactly what we're talking about. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Absolutely.
What it will look like, what they can expect, and why they want to sign up.
Absolutely. So this is my 28-day um, sugar freedom challenge. Sorry, I couldn't remember the name of it.
Right.
My 28-day sugar freedom challenge. We are actually starting on Sunday, February 1st, and what it includes a weekly live, well, Zoom meeting for anybody who's in. We don't get off the call until everybody is heard and all issues are addressed, any concerns, whatever, any questions are answered. We also will have a free Facebook group, a private hidden Facebook group. People can bring their concerns to and get real time answers, get date that day answers. That we also will have recipes that will be shared. We'll have all kinds of tips and tricks that will be shared. We will have Q&A with each meeting. Also in the Facebook group, there will be so it's for people who are overcome with these are people that may have made their New Year's resolutions that have now fallen off the wagon. Here we are
Oh,
2 weeks into January.
right, because they're gone after about a week.
After about, yes, about, once the hangover is gone, the resolutions are gone, right? But it's for people who it's if you have made these resolutions in the beginning of the year and you've already fallen off the wagon, this is for you because if the sugar cravings are overwhelming to you and you cannot seem to get past them, this will teach you how to overcome the cravings, just completely eliminate the cravings. It will teach you how to eat the right way so that you don't the cravings don't come back. Because if you're consuming the right foods, you can keep the cravings at bay. If you
You
are
actually change the
your
how your
palate.
taste buds taste things.
Yeah, exactly. It changes your palate. It changes what tastes good to you.
Yeah,
And then you'll find that if you ever, like after you've been through this 28 days, if you try something that you used to eat, it's going to be like sickeningly sweet to you. But it's identifying the foods that are going to help you to keep the cravings away. Not even have to not to, you don't have to muscle through them. It's to help you to we're going to do lifestyle changes. So there are certain lifestyle changes that you want to make to in order for these habits to really take hold. There are certain yeah, I do highly encourage people not to consume alcohol for many reasons, especially women. Women are especially affected by alcohol in a negative way.
yeah,
So I know that there's so many people love their glass of wine at night, and I was one of those people. I was,
sure.
like I said, um, but let me tell you how good it feels on the other side of that. I haven't had alcohol in 16 years, and
Wow,
I've had maybe a champagne toast at a wedding from time to
sure.
time. That's it. But and it feels great. I wake up without a hangover the next day, every single day, right? But it's, I teach you about certain foods, the benefits and the detriments of certain things that you're consuming. Teach you how to read labels. I
Okay,
teach you how, yeah, I teach you about, like I said, lifestyle changes that are going to be beneficial to you in this, in the pursuit of this 28 days of sugar freedom. And then, so it's really about by the end of the 28 days, you will have been able to eliminate your cravings. You'll be choosing the right foods that keep your blood sugar stable, and then you can also lose some weight. Now you may, depending on where you are in your weight loss journey, or how much weight you feel like you want to lose, 28 days may not be enough,
right.
but it gets you
Be a
started.
great start.
It's absolutely gets you a really good foundation. So, oh, look at my hands going. Why is that thumbs
I'm like,
down?
why
What
is
is
that
that
showing
about?
up?
What is that about? This is a thumbs up, not a
How,
thumbs down.
how is that even happening?
Because I was moving my hands around. I'm a hand talker.
So,
Um,
so really quickly, for someone again listening to us who doesn't understand what lifestyle is, when you're talking about making lifestyle changes, can you give just a quick synopsis of
sure.
lifestyle change and what that could look like inside of this 28 days?
Yep. Yeah. So it's encouraging. I encourage you to move. That's one of them.
Ah,
Move. It doesn't have to be a marathon. You don't have to get up and run a marathon. You don't have to go to the gym for 3 hours a day. It's movement. It's getting off your butt every couple of minutes, every 20 minutes or so, and just doing something. Walking back and forth in your house. Maybe doing a few knee lifts, or doing some stretches, or just walking, just moving, just on your phone. You're on the phone, you're talking on the phone, just walk back and forth, pace. If you are
yeah,
working
because
at a desk,
nowadays that's made easy. Unlike us
yes, exactly.
younger, we're
You're not
tied to the
tethered. Yeah,
wall.
yeah, exactly. I was tethered to the wall for many years. Um, but also if you're working, if you have the luxury of a standing desk, utilize that.
Yeah,
Stand up. But if you don't, get up every 20 minutes and do maybe some squats if you can, or just some stretches. Stretch your arms up, go side to side, whatever it is. Do some of this, and
yeah,
just do something. Move. Get your lymphatic fluid moving through your body. Get your blood flowing through your body. Just get up and move.
I
And
love
that
it. Check this out.
check what out. What are you doing? Is this your standing desk?
We bought standing desks so that we could implement more of
Yeah.
that into
Yep.
our lifestyle.
Yep. And are you so your desk is moving, but you're not standing up.
Not yet, no.
Yeah. But you will. Um, so that's just one of the lifestyle changes. Getting enough sleep, prepping your meals, managing stress. That is a huge one. Managing stress, and I give you tools on how to do that.
Oh, I love that.
Managing stress, because stress contributes to cravings. It contributes to cortisol, the increase of cortisol production in your body, which increases your belly fat, increases your heart risk, your cardiac risk. Um, Cortisol is a necessary thing in our body. It's one of our stress hormones. It's necessary when you're running from the tiger.
Right.
However, the way our lifestyles are today, we are under constant, unrelenting stress, and we're so used to it that we don't even notice it. And that our bodies were not designed to be under unrelenting stress.
Right? Well, and we're exposed to things that we have no business
Yes,
being,
absolutely.
being
Yep,
exposed to.
yep, yep.
So,
So, different things like that. It's not just the food. The food is a major part of it, but it's not just the food. It's all of the stuff. It's the relationships. It's the community that you're in. It's the conversations that you have with other people and with yourself, right?
oh, first,
It's the
yes,
mindset. It's the mindset. Um it's the positivity versus the negativity. It's the gratitude versus the I hate my life. It's all of this stuff. All of this contributes to your well-being or your lack of well-being, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. And I always add in their lifestyle, remembering to play.
Yes, that's a
Play.
perfect yes, yes. Have
Like
fun,
for
laugh.
no reason and
Right.
for no production, just play.
Yeah. It's that's really easy when you have little kids around because I have my grandson, my 6-year-old grandson lives here, and I have no choice but to play. I have to play because if I
Right?
don't,
And
yeah, he gets bored.
they do it so freely. Like
Oh, yeah.
they don't think about like, oh, is this being productive, or how did I
Right.
do it yesterday, or how am I going to do, they just play and
They're
allowing,
spontaneous.
yes, allowing ourselves to be in that place in those
Yep.
lifestyle changes as well.
Yep.
So, okay,
So,
so really quickly, we're at the top of our
well,
we have
yes.
actually spent lots of time together, but
Yes.
how we'll make sure that we get it in all the show notes and stuff, but
Yep.
I would like for you to say it out your face, like how do people get a hold of you as the Sugar Freedom Coach, but also to be a part of your 28-day challenge that starts Sunday, February 1st.
So the link is in my link tree,
Okay.
which my friend Leah will provide to you,
Yep,
I
we'll make
think.
sure that that
Yep.
happens.
Yep. And also in my link tree is how to get on my website. You can get on there and see some free recipes. You can also book a call with me. If you want to have a conversation about this, I'm happy to have a conversation with you about the 28-day challenge before you decide to sign on.
Awesome.
And and if you're all in, if you can't wait to start on February 1st, then the link for the 28-day challenge is also in my link tree.
Yeah,
So you can
I'm
sign up
just
for
gonna
it.
change some verbiage right there and say it's not if you're all in, it's be all in. Like
Yes.
invest in yourself. This
Yeah.
is you can see that you're going to get the opportunity to work with a beautiful soul who has been through the experiences herself, has an actual embodied experience of this and wants to extend information out to you and give you tools to help you be successful, to help set you up for success. So it's not an if, it's a get yourself registered.
That's Thanks, Jen. That's right. Get yourself registered.
You're
It's really
welcome.
it's an investment that is worth it for you. It's not expensive. It's $197 to
Okay.
sign up for the 28-day challenge. And it's going to be well worth it for you. You have pretty unfettered access to me and the information that I have, and I'm more than happy to share all the information that I have.
I love
And
it. Well,
but you
and
have we
again, it's not just you're not just going to be connected with Karen. It's like what we talked about in the beginning. It's connection with other people going
Mhm.
through similar things. It's about
Yep,
shining the light on the shame and letting it shrink and saying, "Whoa, I'm not the only one who experiences these things or who has done stupid things or who is in this situation." Like you get a community. Karen's amazing. Like you're going to get Karen, but you get a community beyond Karen.
absolutely. Yes, it's going to be a connected community, and I encourage people to connect with each other. We are, it's a safe space in the meeting because what's said in the meeting stays in the meeting. You can talk about whatever. You just go off somewhere in your house, tell your family you're going to be busy for an hour, sit down, and just be free with whatever it is that you have to say. And a lot of times just getting things off your chest.
Yes.
It makes it,
Or hearing yourself say them.
exactly. Yeah. And realizing that they're not as bad because inside your head, things they grow. They're like the blob, right? They just
Oh,
grow exponentially. But when you give light to them or when you give voice to them, all of a sudden it just kind of turns into dust and just flies away, and it's not a big deal.
yeah. It just made me think of this crazy experience of that in a way that's outside of myself. So I have a inflatable hot tub, and
Nice.
it's been having these. I usually have it down in the winter, but right now it's inside the garage.
Hmm.
And it's been having these little floaty things like those big dandelion puffs.
Hmm.
It's kind of what it would look like before it's wet. Well, no, I got in yesterday. I'm like, what the? These things are everywhere. And talking about shining the light on things, part of the reason is because it's not getting UV. And so it's
Oh,
creating this growth.
like an algae or something, right?
Yeah,
Or, yeah,
yeah, and so it's needed a little extra attention and care that we were
yeah,
unaware of.
yeah,
And so you're going to get that inside of this group. You're going to get that the extra
yeah. That
sunlight and
calm.
the extra
Yeah,
UV and all the extra attention that you might not understand or even know you needed. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I've run many groups before, and I find that the group dynamic is more than the individual one-to-one,
it's so
you know,
powerful.
in
I
many
agree.
ways. Yeah. Because people bring experiences that other people have had. They contribute to each other. They come up with ideas, like the group itself comes out. It's not all about me, certainly. You know, I'm the facilitator, but everything, all of this information is in all of us. It's just a matter of bringing it to the surface. And so I'm here to help you bring it, to fish it out and bring it to the surface.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Thank you again for sharing just you with us and these little snippets of your wisdom and your lived experience and just all the things that brought you to where you are now. I just want to say thank you and for your willingness to share and not only just share but to really put it out there in a way that other people can then find a tool or find a little snippet of nutrition for themselves and start making these changes in a more conscious, healthy way for themselves, and then be able to add that out into this beautiful collective conscious. Because when one person gets healthy, I think it's in power versus force. Like when one person gets healthy and raises their energy, it helps raise the energy for like 10,000 people.
Absolutely.
So I'm always excited when I hear of my friends and other people who are making these changes inside themselves, but then saying, "Hey, do you want to join the fun of like actually raising the vibe of the planet, one person at a time?"
Absolutely.
And so let's assist Karen. Let's assist you. Get yourself signed up for this. We'll make sure that you have the information to go to her link tree and find all the different places and ways that you can contact her. Um, and then also, if you've got questions, put them in the comments, and we'll make sure that Karen sees this and or that they get to her. Oh my gosh, I had something else and it's slipping my mind. So we'll just say thank you again. Thank you to you who have been watching us and sharing your light into this interview. And stick your questions below. And just remember, it's okay to be human. The stuff that we're experiencing means nothing about us. It means we're having an experience. And this is just a simple way to kick the door open to being human. Be willing to sit with yourself and know that you're freaking amazing just the way you are, and that your experiences don't define. It just gives you, as Karen said, information on how you may or may not want to move forward. So we would love if you want to move forward with us, let us know. And if not, that's okay too. Join us on another podcast. So Karen, thank you again. Any
Thank you,
last thoughts
Jen.
before we say sayonara?
Just just take the first step. Take the first step is and once you get the first step done, then take the next step. And just do it one step at a time. That's all. And you'll be amazed at how well you'll do. You'll look back and you'll say, how did I get this far? But one
I
step at a
love it.
time.
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. Well, I will look forward to chatting with you again. And you, as our listener, I will look forward to seeing you or having you see me on another podcast in the future. If you are interested, if you have a story that you feel like you want to share in a bigger way, reach out and let's have a conversation and see if this is a format that fits for you. Or if you know of someone who you think would be a great host or has great information to share, send them my way. I would love to. We're currently making our list of guests for the coming season and always welcome the information and guests that you share. So thank you again for your time. We appreciate you. We love you. And here's to being human. All right, go kick some ass. We'll see you later.